With regards to the registration, you put in your ID number and you put in your date of birth in reverse. You click login. And most of you would have seen this page, especially the ones that would have received offers earlier. You would have experienced this page already. For the new ones, you are looking for My Secure Area. You are selecting My Secure Area. And then you are looking for Student Services and Financial Aid. Right? On your portal, you would only see Student Services and Financial Aid and personal information. So you are clicking on Student Services and Financial Aid. You will then go down to Registration, Registration Map and Guide, and you are looking for Semester 1 courses. Enter Semester 1 courses. You would click on the first option, and this page would come up. Now, I'm not going to register because I am not doing any courses for N1, but an easy way to do it, and which is not using the CRNs, you can use your course code. And I will show you all the course codes for the N1 program for semester 1, so you would know specifically what you are looking for. So you are clicking class search, and you're going to click advanced search. If I am doing biology 0100, I'm looking for biol, B-I-O-L. I'm going to select that, and I'm going to put 0100 in the course number. You hit section search, and this is what will come up. You will tick this box on the left and then hit register. When you hit register, it will take you back out to this page and you will see web registered for that specific course. You will then hit class search again if you are doing multiple courses and then do the same process for each course. Once you finish and you add all the courses that you have been approved for, you're going to hit submit changes. If you don't hit submit changes, you will not be registered. If you just come off of this page and you come off of the student portal, your registration would not be recorded on the system. So you must hit submit changes. Now, after this section of the registration, you have to then move on to the financial process. But before we get to that, if you visit the Prescience website, this is what your website would look like. You would need to visit this website for multiple things. It could be letter requests, certificate of completion when you have completed the N1 program, visa letters. You have a timetable video on the left here. You have an orientation video on the right. As you see, this one is reflecting 24-25. It would be this recording that we are on now will be placed here for the 25-26 cohort of students. So if you need to refer to what we discuss in the future, anything that giving you trouble, you could come back right here and view it. This video here is actually from last year. But what I want to direct your attention to is this document here, the Student Registration Instruction Guide. The same steps that I would have gone through in the student portal to get to here and enter your courses is located on this document. So you can click on the website, search the website, click on this document and follow the steps. It may just look different because this is the old model, but the information stays the same. One second. Right. The information on the document is the same. You would just need to, so as you see, it's green and it's looking different. You have to select the campus. That's fine. You are already selecting the campus once you search my.ue.edu. You log in, it has the information, the format of how your password should look. Once you put it in, You select the informations, student services and financial aid, registration, map and guide, semester one courses, and you add your course. Some of you, when you reach to this section of the portal, you may see invalid username and password. If you see that coming up, if it's prompting you when you're trying to get into the portal, it means that they are still working on your record. So you would have to give them a couple of days in order to get access, right? So you don't need to panic. If you see on this page here, invalid username and password. Good. So you have this document to reference when you are doing your online registration, sorry, for your courses. Now, when you complete registration, your next step is gaining financial clearance. And when we refer to financial clearance, we are looking at dealing with your tuition fees, your compulsory fees, and your installments with regards to semester one only. So the financial clearance process requires you to submit 3 documents to the bursary, the student account units of the university. And those 3 documents, you could write it down, is your signed fee sheet, your signed gate form if you are taking gate, and your first installment receipt, front and back. Good. So once you complete registration, you're going to print your fee sheet here. You see in print fee sheet, you're going to select print fee sheet. So I am not registered, so my fee sheet would not populate. If you are not registered, you would see this note here. You have not selected any courses for the academic year 25-26. It means that you have to go back and ensure that you have submitted the changes with regards to the semester one courses. When you click print fee sheet after registration, a document comes up. You have to either save it as a PDF and sign it soft copy using an e-signature, or you can print it and sign it physically. You would see student's signature with a line and then date on the right hand side. So that is one document. This is where you're finding your fee assessment invoice. So this is one document for financial clearance. So you're going to take this out, save it, sign it, and you hold it there for a while. The second part you have to do is enroll into FEPE. Enrolling into FEPE will give you temporary clearance for the semester. Now, every student, regardless of if you are taking GATE or not, you must enroll into FEPE. Take note of that. You must enroll into FEPE. Now, when you enroll into FEPE, it will show you your total fees for the courses that you selected or that you was approved for, and you would also see your compulsory fees in one payment. And I'll show you how the installments are divided into the 3 payments from the academic calendar shortly. Now, once you enroll into FEPE, if you look at the next option, which is check financial clearance, after enrolling and you click here, you would see you have been financially cleared from September to January. I think January is the prompt, but you will get financial clearance for the entire semester. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't have the responsibilities to make your payments and submit your financial documents to bursary before October, because October is the last installment date for the payment plan. So don't take this note as you have been financially cleared for the semester and you have access to exams and all of these things. Good? This would just clear you temporarily while your gate's sorting out or while you have the 3 installments to cover within the semester. So that is 2 documents you need for financial clearance. The third document, no, the second document is the receipt, right? The first installment receipt. The third document is your gate form for those of you who are accessing Gate. When you apply to Gate, the application form is not the form that you need to attach to your fee sheet and your receipt to submit to Bursary. After submitting the Gate application, there's a biodata sheet that comes up. It shows you all the information that you put onto the Gate application, your name, which documents you uploaded, the period, all of these things would be on that page. It's a white page and it has some blue lines running across the headings. You will have to print it and sign it on the top right hand corner. So you have to print it after submission. You are printing it, you are signing it on the top right hand corner. And now you are ready to merge your documents to send it for financial clearance. So the best way to do this is you open a Word file, you take your fee sheet, your signed fee sheet, you can drag it over, you can copy it over, however you want to put it on the Word document. You insert it on the Word document. You take your gate form, the signed gate form, you copy it, you merge it, you drag it, you put it onto that same Word document, and then you are taking, it could be an image of the back and front of your receipt for the first installment, and you are putting it on that same Word document. You are then to save that document in the following format. And you would need to write this down as well. You are saving the PDF file with the three forms, the receipt, back and front, gate form, fee sheet in this format. Now, as you see here, it's your ID number, it's your first name, last name, and you are seeing FSS. The FSS would be replaced by FST because you belong to the Faculty of Science and Technology. FSS is Social Sciences, so do not put FSS. Ensure that you put FST, as you see it on the top here. So it should reflect your ID, your first name, your last name, and FST. You're saving that file. This would be the name of the file. And then you are clicking here on the top to submit the file. Once you click, it comes up like this. You have to use your student email. You attach the file here, and then you send the e-package to Bursary. Now, if you use your personal email for this submission, Bursary will not process. You must use your student email. Everyone in the program or every university student receives a Microsoft account through the student portal. Good? If you're having issues with regards to your email, we can assist because sometimes your names are familiar and they will put a number in your email and you may not know. So if you're using your student email and you're getting issues with that, we can assist. But the format for your student email is your first name dot last name at my.ue.edu. So my student email will be karen.brash at my.ue.edu. And because I am not a current student, if you email me on my student email, I am most likely not to see it. So you must ensure that you are emailing myself or Ms. Jules or the pre-science email with the domain STA. So for all of you, it would be my.ue.edu. So how do you see your student email? Just while we're on the topic of student emails. When you go back to the student portal, next to my secure area, you would see my learning. Sorry, you would see my email. You are clicking on my email. Now, before you see your inbox, you're going to get a message like this. Because everyone has to download the Authenticator application. For the ones that use Samsung, it will be in the Play Store. Um, for iPhone users, it will be in the Apple Store. And there's a specific one that the university uses. Let me see if I can show you the icon. Right. We all should be familiar with this icon here. This would be the icon. This is the app that we would use with regards to your email. So if I am to send notification here now, it's going to come to my phone. And this is how the university protects your login credentials and all the information that is on the student portal. Because you may be receiving notes, you may be receiving updates, you may get marks on certain things. You will have to upload certain assignments through the portal. And in order to protect your information, the two-step authenticator app is there to protect that. So if you are logging in as a student, you are logging into the portal on any device, you must have your cell phone because the device would send you a code. You will have to put it in your phone, unlock your phone, and then that will unlock your account. So if somebody else is trying to use your account, the account would send you a code. And if you know that you are not trying to log in, then you know somebody is trying to access your account. So you can report that to us, you can report it to SITS, and they would assist with dealing with if it's phishing or if it's whatever. You know, to have um, people who try to all these hacking and all these things. So we don't want any of you to be getting these kind of prompts and not saying anything. So let us know as soon as if you didn't try to get in your account and somebody is trying to, feel free to come and let us know as soon as possible. Right, so that's emails. So we dealt with registration, we dealt with PPay, we dealt with financial documents, we dealt with how we're going to get financial clearance. We're going to move on to teaching. Now, the entire program will be delivered remotely for the first 2 weeks. So, week one, which is from the 2nd, and week two, you will be taking all your classes at home online. You would receive the links via email from the Prescience email, and you would also have access to the links in My Learning. So as we are on the student portal, this app here, where you see My E-Learning, is a platform that your lecturers would share all information with you. All your teaching readings, your teaching notes, your texts, everything that they need to get you to you, they will be sharing it through this portal. You may receive emails in the early part of the semester because some of you may have issues getting onto the student portal, and then some of you will have issues getting onto My Learning. So we would facilitate sending certain information via email to you, but as the semester moves along, you will have to log into the student portal to get access to the information. Now, without registration, your courses via the student portal will not populate. So if you go into My Learning and you're not seeing any courses, you need to check your registration to see if you have completed that successfully. If you register now, like at this exact date and time, you will have to allow the portal itself to migrate your registration over to My Learning. So you should see it later on tonight. You will see all the course shells and stuff for the courses that you registered for. So if I log into the portal now, and you would see it ask me for the Authenticator app. So once you're logging in, it will ask you for the Authenticator app. I would then have to approve the code. And then it automatically takes you into the portal, which is My Learning. Just how you see these course shells here, you would see it in your account. It will reflect if it's bio, it will be bio 0100, chem 0100, comp 0100, maths, physics 0100. You would see your course shells populate like this. The name of the course will be below, The semester will be below, and you could then enter any one of them. If you want to look at notes for bio, if your biology lecturer said, please check your My Learning, I'll be uploading, let's say, recordings for week one by later on tonight. You come on the portal, click, and you would see the recordings there. You can then access it. She would give you access via the link and the password for you to go and review any information that was taught in the classes. So this is one of the, well, let me say this is the main platform that you will be communicating with your lecturers. You would see additional readings. You might see videos to look at. You will get tutorial questions here. So most of the communication will come from the lecturer to this platform. You will hardly receive emails from a lecturer. Most of the emails would come from us as the administrators. The lecturer deals with this part here. If something happens during, let's say we have adverse weather alert, um, we may tend to move to online teaching. The lecturers can come in the same portal, the My Learning, and put an announcement. Once they put an announcement, you usually get an email in your student account. But usually we also send that information via email from the pre-science. So you have two modes of communication. So this is just an idea of how the portal would look in terms of My Learning. So if you all go to the student portal, and I want to show you all it because some of you all have been emailing and all of these things with regards to the medicals. So you see under student records, you're not going in registration, but you're going under student records. You would see view holes. You could view the holes that you have. So if you go to register and it tells you you have a hole on your account preventing registration, before you email, you can go over to student records, click on view holes, and you would see what is the hole or what are the holes. So currently, everyone would have an immunization and a medical hole. All students would have it. You would have to complete a student entrance medical form in order to remove the medical hold and the immunization hold. While they would not prevent you from courseworks and finals and access to the portal, they will prevent you from requesting letters. So status letters, completion letters, visa letters, you will get hiccups if you have any kind of holes on your account. Now, how to get rid of these holes? You can search HSU or Health Service Unit, UE, and this is the unit that's responsible for all medical or immunization or anything regarding medicine on campus for students. You have to scroll down on their homepage and you would see student entrance medical form. Once you click on this link here, it downloads the form. You are responsible to print this form and you can take it to any practitioner. It could be public, it could be private. It doesn't have to be the hospital, it could be the health center. You would take it to any of those medical practitioners and they will complete this form with you in person. At the end of the examination, they would sign it off, they will pass it back to you, and you will then have to bring it, sorry, not bring it, you will then have to submit it via email with a copy of your immunization records. So most of you would have your immunization cards. I know a couple of students told me that they didn't have it and they had to request it. That's fine. You can do the medical part of um, removing the holes and such during the course of the semester, but try not to let it go down into November and December. The early parts when you are physically here from week 3, you can sort out the information with regards to your medical holes. So you're printing this document, you're taking it to your medical practitioner, they will complete it, they will provide it back to you, And then you are coming to email it to HSU. You have two emails that you can use. You have doctor@sta.ue.edu and you have nurse@sta.ue.edu. You are only submitting the document to one email. You are not submitting the document to the both email accounts. Only one. And just putting it there, you are not submitting the document to me or Miss Jules because we don't deal with medicals. Good. You can access if you are unsure, you can access. We will provide you with the email. We will tell you doctor or nurse, only to send it to one account. That's fine. But these are the two accounts here. Just choose one and send in the immunization and the medical form, the completed medical form. So from medicals, we move over to your ID card. Now, when students get their acceptance, you complete registration, you enroll into FEPE. After you enroll into FEPE, you get temporary clearance, financial clearance for the semester. Once you get financial clearance from enrolling in FEPE for the semester, you can apply for your ID card. You would need to visit their website. So you can search UE ID card, get your UE ID card. This page here would populate. You scroll down to the UE ID card photo upload application form. If you want guidance with regards to what you need to do, there are details here under have someone take your picture. There's a criteria of what photos they would accept. You can check it. As a matter of fact, check it before you upload your photo because there are certain dimensions of the photo and there are certain backgrounds. These photos on top here are photos that they would not accept. If it's too bright, if they can't see, if it's blurry, if it's a group shot, they would not accept it. These here below, however, they would accept. So you have to ensure that your photo fits into the criteria for the upload. Now, I am not requesting my ID card, so I'm not going to click upload, but you can click upload. I think they would just ask you for general information surrounding your ID number and those things. Right. So your ID number and your password. Now, with this, your username is your email, your student email, and your password is your ID number. So this is the only account that your username is not the ID number. Your username here would be your student email and your password would be your ID number, the 816 number, not your national ID, your student ID number. Once you put in the information here, you log in. There'll be general information for you to complete. You'll upload your photo and then you have to book an appointment to collect the ID. So you go back to the home page and on the right hand side, you should see mm, let me see where they have the appointment booking. Okay, so I'm not seeing the appointment booking. So, oh, look at right here. Sorry. Book your appointment. So after you upload, you most likely will get a confirmation email. You then click on book your appointment and you will have to select when you want to pick up your ID. These appointments are maximum 15-minute slots any day. So whenever you look at your timetable, you might say, okay, I have an hour free here. Let me book my appointment for the first 15 minutes in the hour. You then go over, after booking, you go over to the admissions building, which is the Lloyd Bradford building. If you are unsure, you could come to the dean's office and we will try to direct you. And they will be in the lobby area from 8:30 to 6 p.m. from October 3rd, I believe, they will then relocate to the ID card office, which is in the same admissions building, but you'll have to go to the back to get to the ID card office. Once you're in the building, you can ask any member of staff, they will direct you. But for the month of September, they will be in the lobby, available and ready for you to collect your ID card. Now, your ID card is very important because one, it allows us as staff members to identify who you are, if you belong to the campus, if you don't belong to the campus, for safety reasons. Two, your ID card allows you access into certain buildings. For example, the library, and specifically TLC, which is considered Teaching and Learning Complex. Most of you, if not all of you, will have lectures in that building. You cannot get onto the building compound without your ID number. Sorry, without your ID card. In the interim, if you have not received your ID card when you come onto campus physically, you will need to walk with a copy of your acceptance letter, and they may be lenient in allowing you access to the compound. But before you get here on, is it the 19th? On the 15th, before you get on campus physically, on the 15th, try to at least submit the photo and everything before. So that first week of you being physically here, you can get your ID card. Even at the gate, they will be lenient in the early stages of accessing campus, but eventually they are going to ask you for that ID card. Any gate you're trying to access campus, they are going to ask you for that ID card. And if it is you don't have it, you will have, well, I have seen them put people off campus. I have seen them allow certain people based on whatever communication they provided. But please don't let us receive any reports that you are trying to access campus and don't have your ID cards, because the information comes right back to myself and Ms. Shoes. So you have your ID card, you can put it around your neck. Just make sure it's visible. Don't have it at the bottom of your bag. So when people passing, any staff member, any security, whatever the case may be, they could see it from a distance so they don't have to approach you and ask you anything. And that's a method of maintaining safety on campus as well, right? Even staff members like myself and Ms. Hughes wear our ID card. Of course, it's a staff ID card, but we wear it. Good. So just make sure you have your ID card by the third week. You will have full access to classes and everything, access to campus. And I'm saying this now to you, to get into the exam room, and I'm saying this for coursework and final, you will need an ID card. If you don't have your ID card before exams, you will not be, you may enter the room, but there will be a penalty, but take it as you would not be entering the room. Because at the beginning of that exam, you don't want to have to deal with any chief examiner telling you you don't have an ID card. Go to the side and wait till everybody else get inside. Ensure and note it in bold. Your final exams would be in December. You need your student ID card to get into that room. Ms. Jules and I would not be there to say, yes, you are an N1 student. It will be different chief invigilators, and they usually don't be lenient with exams. So please ensure, if you don't have your ID card by November, you need to let us know. Or maybe October, you need to let us know so we can assist and direct you properly.
Aaron, while you're on that note, just touch briefly on the student pass because there will be
Or the
no
vehicle.
thoroughfare. Yeah, the vehicle pass.
Okay. For students who may be driving, or your parents might be accessing campus to drop and pick you up, you will have to request a UE vehicle permit. right? All cars on campus, all vehicles on campus needs a vehicle permit in order to enter and park on campus. There are designated parking spots for staff and there are designated parking spots for students. As a student, if you park in a staff spot, you can be possibly clamped, and the cost to remove the clamp is $200. Vice versa, if a staff goes over to a student spot and park, we can be possibly clamped, and we will also have to pay the same fine of the $200. So you have the JFK car park, you have the TGR car park, you have the Harties car park. You all will familiarize yourself when you're physically here. Those are identified as student parking spots. Staff spots are usually closer where the offices are. So you would know if you are parking in front of an office, especially with a reserve sign, you are parking in the wrong place. Now, if your parents are passing to drop you off, to pick you up, they also have to request the pass. You will have to request the pass on their behalf for the vehicle. So you would search up, it could be UE vehicle permit, but I want to believe that marketing and communication would have already sent this to all of you via email using your student email. You should receive a notification from marketing and communication with regards to how to request the pass. But if not, you can search up the University Campus Security Vehicle Permits and you are going to click on student. You will have to log in. This information here now. Would you have your ID card?
Yeah.
You want to show them what the 12-digit number look like? I do have mine on me. On top, you'll put your ID, which is your student ID, your 81600, whatever number on the top. But your smart card, your UE ID number, sorry, your UE ID card has a 12-digit number.
1 second.
Right. You see that thousand, that big number down below? Everyone ID card will have that. That's called
So watch your face.
that's called the 12-digit number, right? You will have to put that on the second row here where you see smart card ID number. You're putting that number there and then your student ID number on the top, which is the 816 number. And then you put in the enter security code 5WU as it is here and you log in. You will need the vehicle number for the car. If you have more than one cars, they would ask you for two. You could put a maximum of two number plates on the pass. And I think you just need to put a contact number after that. Now, this is what the pass would look like, right? But this pass, that's the one. This pass is for teaching a temporary staff. Your pass as a student would not be this color, and you would not see TS. You would see ST for student. This here is temporary staff. So it would not be this color, it would be a totally different color. And you would see ST for student. On the back of it has the information for the vehicles, the name of the person, the date, and who processed the pass. Everyone should be, once you have a car coming or visiting the campus, you will need one of this because security will turn back any car if they don't have a legitimate pass on the dash, or at least if you don't have it somewhere that you could pull it out and show them. Again, if you are unsure, you could feel free to visit the dean's office and we will guide you with regards to the pass because none of you will be here for the first 2 weeks. So in week three, most likely your parents, some of you may be having to drop off. You can come to us and we will guide you with regards to how to get the pass. So we should be okay with the IDs, car passes. We're moving on to lab protocols and requirements. For the students who are pursuing biology, chemistry, and physics, Write this down. If you are pursuing biology, chemistry, and or physics, it could be bio only, it could be bio and phys, bio and chem and phys, any one of those subjects, you will be physically in the lab, whether it be Department of Life Sciences, Department of Physics, Department of Chemistry. You must, it is not optional, you must wear proper PPE, personal protective equipment in the lab. It is a protocol of campus. Underneath, or your clothes must be a long pants, preferably a jeans pants. Don't let it be for the ladies are leggings, for the guys are joggers. Please wear preferably a jeans pants. You have to wear closed toe shoes, preferably a sneakers because you'll be moving in the lab, not a Crocs, not a flip-flops. And for the ladies who wear the little one that you just slip in your foot, it would not work in your lab. Your feet must be covered. You must be in a long pants. You can wear, of course, not the thin sharp tops and your tank tops for guys. Wear a normal tee, could be a polo, but you also have to put on a lab coat. All students once enter in the labs, even your lecturers, tutors, demonstrators, all of them must be dressed properly in the lab. If you come to the lab and you are not properly dressed, they can refuse your entry into the lab because if you enter the lab and something spill on you, the university would be responsible. So that is why we are very serious with regards to the PPE equipment that you have to wear in the lab. It's not optional. Most likely, you come inappropriately dressed, your lecturer or your demonstrator will walk you to the dean's office and we will have to adjust it. So, dress appropriately when it comes to the labs. Now, the dean's office have um, available lab coats. You all can get it here when you come physically on campus from the 15th, because that week your labs would be starting. The cost of the lab coats are $200 TT. For students who are pursuing chemistry and chemistry only, you would need to pay for goggles, OTG goggles if you wear glasses, normal goggles if you don't. I think it's $26. You could come to us and get information on how to purchase the goggles because I don't think they take cash. However, the dean's office will take cash for the lab coats. Yes, I hope that in week 3, I don't have any of y'all getting turned away from your labs because of inappropriate dress code. I'm just saying, see how much times I'm repeating it. You will come and you will not be able to do your lab. And trust me, that's an issue because there are no makeup labs. And I will touch back on makeups. So we touched on the UE student email. As I said, if you try first name, that last name, and you are not getting in to your account, you could send us an email, let us know. We would check on our side to see if there's a special character or a number attached to your name. Once the name is too similar, they would put a special character or a number in the address. You may not know that from your side because you won't have access to see it until you eventually get access to the inbox. We would have access on the other side as a staff member to see what the email accounts are for everyone in the program. Right. So we reached through the entire list of things except for one. So we did registration, teaching, timetable. I know it was a lot. Gate, prepay, financial clearance, medical forms, ID cards, lab protocols and requirements, student emails. The last thing I have here, but before I deal with this, I want to make a point on makeups. The university, in addition to the pre-science program, if you miss a class, you miss a lab, you miss an exam, there most likely will not be a makeup session for that class unless you provide a medical to the health services unit in which they would make a report and send it to your faculty. In this case, it will be administrators as Ms. Jews and myself. And then we will, based on the report, we will then determine if you will be granted a makeup or not. When you are here physically, there will not be any leveraging of online tools to record classes. So if you miss a class, there will be no recording. For the first 2 weeks, you will have recordings. But once you are here physically, there will be no recording going up on My Learning or being sent to you via email of the classes. You must be there for your class. If you have to miss a class, you have to inform us so that we could know what is going on. We'll make an informed decision. If you have planned trips to fly within the semester, that is not an ample reason to provide a makeup. Yes? So if you are planning trips for December, ensure that it does not clash with the dates on the academic calendar in which you're supposed to be here at St. Augustine campus. Most of you would have received the academic calendar via email. I would share it again, maybe by the end of the day for the ones who have never seen it. You can pull it up online. It's available. But I would share it so you can have free access to it. You could save it. You could take the dates that you need. But this document is important because it shows you how everything is going to run for the academic year. You will see semester one on top, as most, if not all, of your letters would have indicated that the semester begins on August 24th. Yes, it's a Sunday. The university always begins on a Sunday. Registration began on August 18th. Most of you would have known that. It will end on the 5th of September. Now, I'm saying this, or maybe I shouldn't say this, but I would say it. Right now, it ends on the 5th of September. We are working on possibly getting this extended, but the ones who are in this meeting should complete registration before the 5th of September. So I'm still tasking you to finish your registration before the 5th. I know the newly accepted ones would have issues logging in, but you should have enough time between now and the 5th of September to be registered for your courses and financially cleared. So don't depend on the fact that Mr. Barr say that he's working on getting it extended with admissions. Stick to the date that is on the academic calendar for 25-26. More importantly, your exam dates are also here. The period for exam begins from the 1st of December and it ends on the 19th of December. And this is for semester one. It begins on the 1st, ends on the 19th. So your exams could fall anyway between the 1st and the 19th of December. For now, you would not get information when your exams would be. You would receive that later in the semester when the dates are confirmed. But that is the general period of your exams. So you could have exam on the 2nd, the 4th, and the 17th. You could have it on the 8th, the 9th, and the 11th. It could fall anywhere between there. Usually, we try not to have N1 exams back to back, but it is possible to have an exam back to back. So prepare for that, keep that in mind. If you scroll down a little more, you would see the 3 installments for semester one. August 31st, September 30th, October 31st. For the students who are now enrolling into FEPE, I believe the first installment was adjusted to the 13th of September. It may not change for everyone, but some of the students would be seeing the 13th of September instead of the 31st of August. It is fine. You could still use the 31st. You can use the 13th. You can pay your compulsory fees in full. You can pay it in half. You can pay the first installment. However you want to pay once you make your first installment. You upload the receipt and you submit that with your fee sheet signed and your gate form signed. Now, with these installments here, I just want to share one thing. The last point is orientation. So we will deal with that when I go through this last document. I know it's a lot.
Before you move on, Karen,
Mhm.
it's important to know that after the 5th, if registration is extended, because the calendar did speak to late registration. There is a late registration fee of $200 that is usually applied to persons that are registering after the 5th of September, and registration actually is supposed to end on the 12th. However, it is up to the administration of the university to waive that fee. So just in case you all are seeing it appearing, if you are registering after the 5th, um, it is, I'm giving you notice that it is actually a late fee that is applied for persons who register after the official registration period. Yeah.
Thank you. So, with regards to the payment plan dates, for the students who are taking GATE, you are considered sponsored students, right? Now, what that means, the percentage each installment carries is different from the ones who are not taking GATE. So, if you are taking GATE, your first two installments, whether it be the 31st or the 13th of September, the 30th of September, and then the 31st of October would be 70. So your first two installments will be 15, sorry. Whether it be the 31st or the 13th of September, 15% of your total fees. Your second installment, which is September 30th, would be 15%. And your third installment would be 70%. The reason the third installment is the heaviest is because by October, the university expect GATE to provide feedback to all of you so you would know how much percentage they are covering, whether it be 50, 75, or 100. So you only have to pay 15% in the first two installments. You are while you apply for GATE and you are waiting for their feedback on the percentage they will cover. Now, when you apply for GATE and you submit in your financial documents, you are not waiting for GATE to get back to you before you submit that signed form. Once you apply, you hit submit and the biodata sheet comes up. You print it immediately, you sign it, you merge it to your other documents and you send it. You are not waiting for GATE to approve to say they cover in 50, 75, or 100. Once you send in the application biodata page, the bursary would know that you are a GATE funded student and they would organize your account accordingly. When GATE provides feedback to you and say I'm covering 50%, 75 or 100, they also send information to the student bursary. So you can, at that point, take the confirmed approval with the percentage and upload it to eCourier. So bursary would know that you received how much percentage, whatever it may be. GATE will communicate with them. they would keep your account off of what we know as a AR hold. If you don't do this before October 30th, you would receive an accounts receivable hold, and that hold will prevent you from accessing my learning, registration, transcripts, examination. Those are major things that you need access to within the semester. An AR hold is a financial hold. Ms. Jules and I don't have the power to remove or put on the hold. That comes from bursary, campus bursary. So I don't want any of you to have issues with finances. I know how life goes, life happens. Let us know. There are things that could be put in place with negotiations with yourself and bursary. You have to come early and let us know. Don't come a week before exam and say, "Sir, I have an AR hold." We most likely would not have enough time to make any kind of request or anything. From the time you know something should be done and you can't do it, feel free to approach myself or Miss Jules or anybody in the dean's office. If we are not here, they will take your message or they will let you know where you can find us and we will assist. All communication for the N1 program is to be sent to myself, the Miss Jules, or the pre-science email, which both of us manage. If you go to admissions and request a status letter, they would send it to N1. If you go anywhere else on campus and request anything, they would send it back to us here. So in order to prevent the delays, just come directly to us. You have an idea, you think you might be able to do something, pass it by us. If it's not under our portfolio or responsibility, we will direct you and tell you where you need to go and what you need to do in order to get it sorted out. So we, meaning my Miss Jules and myself, in conjunction with all of you here, all 236 of you here, will be on our journey for the next year. And I need you to know that it's going to be a nice journey. It's going to have rough patches. It's going to make you sacrifice your time because you have to put in the work, especially the ones going into medical sciences, engineering. You have to put in the extra work. You have to be focused. You have to find that technique that will make you retain information and execute in the exam. The students who are pursuing biochem and phys, I always advise that is one of our hardest combination. Your time management skills need to be tweaked. If you are having issues with the weight, you need to come and let us know, meaning the weight of the courses. You need to come and let us know because you need to score your grades in order to move forward to your degrees. Yes, give me some thumbs up in the chat if you're understanding what I'm saying.
Let me jump in here for a bit,
Mm-hmm.
Karen, just to give some answer some questions, and I'm answering so that everyone would be aware. So for those who are repeating the program and are asking about carrying forward your lab marks, if you have never carried forward your lab mark, when you start your lab sessions, you have to make that request. You are making the request to your lecturer and you're also sending the request to the fst.prescience email so that we would have a record of it. Now, if you do not have a very strong lab mark, it would not make sense carrying forward that lab mark. The point is to always have a very high coursework so that when you reach into your final exam, you are going in strong. Your lab mark and your coursework exams are what constitute your coursework marks. So a strong coursework more than likely would allow you to get the A or the A plus that you're looking for. If your coursework is out of 50, you are supposed to be aiming for at least 40, and that's not impossible. All right. So you have to make the request through your lecturer or your lab manager with respect to transferring. Um, with respect to those who are getting 100% gate funding, who would have already received confirmation about that, the payment, the installment is only for your compulsory fees. If you so wish to pay your compulsory fees via installment, you have the option of paying all upfront. Even if you're still waiting for Gate to respond, you have the option of using the installment to pay your compulsory fees until Gate responds to what percentage. So if your compulsory fees are $34.65 plus the $35 for enrollment, you are paying the 15% or a 1/3 of that via the installment dates. All right, you are not going to use your entire tuition plus compulsory to calculate how much is supposed to be paid for the installment. In addition to that, for the repeaters, you would not have to repay for caution money. You would not have to repay for your ID card. And you do not have to resubmit your medical forms if you would have already submitted it and you do not have a medical hold. If you have a medical hold and you would have submitted your medical last academic year, you should contact the HSU so that the hold can be removed. All right, the medical form, I believe, lasts for 5 years. So does the caution. It could stay on your record. um, the default password for the student email, isn't it the same date
Same
of birth?
password as the, yes, same password as the portal.
Mm-hmm. So that would
So,
be year Monday,
yeah,
the full year,
full year,
month,
month,
day.
and
No
day.
spaces, no dashes in between.
That's right.
All right.
And it wouldn't be an ID number, it will be your email, which is your first name, not last name, at at my.ub.edu. All right,
Right.
so
Go ahead.
that's the last point. Next week, Friday, will be our first in-person session. We are going to meet you guys for the first time physically at the Daga Auditorium. I hope you all are excited. I am.
I
I've been
think you need
talking
to
to
get
you
a
all.
little bit more
I'm
excited
tired.
than that. That
I'm
kind of
tired.
excitement, not exciting them at
I am
all. I
I'm
am not
tired.
even
Sorry guys.
excited, bitch.
Sorry. Sorry guys. Yes, but yeah, we will be physically at the Daga Auditorium. We have some guest speakers that will be joining us. We will be also addressed by the Dean of the Faculty of Science and Technology. Um, I myself will be there. I Would you be there, Ms. Jules? You're gracing us with your presence.
Absolutely.
Nice. Your course lecturers and tutors would also be there. So you will have an opportunity to ask them any questions or concerns you may have with regards to the courses, and they would probably give you some brief notes or some brief experiences or guide you as well as to what they expect of you. And you can also tell them what you expect of them within the upcoming year. So I know some of you indicated that you may not be able to attend. I mean, given the circumstances, I still strongly advise that you try to attend because the information will be very, very important. And there will not be an available recording for the session. So it begins at 1 p.m. You all could come for like 12:30, 12:45 to get a good seat. It's a big auditorium. So one thing though, it's approximately the size of the auditorium this is, it's approximately going to hold 395 students. And we are almost at 350 students. So I am advising, don't bring your friend. If they're not in the program, somebody asked me if their friend could come. Don't bring mommy and daddy because the auditorium would fill up and students who actually need the information would not be able to get in the auditorium. If it fill up, the security there would not let anybody else into the room. Good. So hopefully I'm not as tired as I am. As some of you may know, I have been here emailing you all hours of the night, processing your applications, answering your emails. It has been a long couple months, but I am
Guys,
here for you.
let me
Ms. Rose
sorry.
and I would be here for you for the next year until you leave us and you go into your undergraduate programs. Um,
Le-
Usually our students,
Sorry, I hear in the tiredness in here, and I want to take it from here because
yeah,
you're
go
you're
ahead.
you're, you're singing
Yeah, no,
like you're
I really am.
trying to sleep on us yet.
Go ahead.
For those of you that are messaging in the chat, I remembered my housekeeping rules had asked that you wait until afterwards so you can open your mic. I am watching that chat and it is going up so fast that I cannot attend to all of the questions there.
We'll let them
So,
open.
um, just to repeat, the orientation is on August 29th at 1 p.m. at the Daga Auditorium. And we are asking that you, while your parents may be the ones bringing you, that you reserve the seats for the students themselves. Of course, if there is space, the parents would be invited to listen in, but the seats are for the offered students of the N1 program. And before we get into the question and answer segment, I also want to touch on, and Karen, we didn't touch on timetabling, and I think it's something that these students and they are asking for us to go
Yes,
through
yes, yes, I forgot that.
before we conclude. While there is a timetable video, he will just
I
touch
know.
on it
Okay.
briefly. But before he does that, I want to make a very important point here. For persons that are planning to get into the Faculty of Medical Sciences, you must do 3 courses. You must do biology, chemistry, and one other. So if you know you have applied and you only selected biology and chemistry, and your goal is to get into the Faculty of Medical Sciences, and you do not have a CAPE subject that would afford you those 3 courses that are needed, then you would need to write to us ASAP asking to add an additional course. Yeah. For those wanting to do engineering, mathematics and physics are compulsory with chemistry at CSEC. If you wish to do petroleum geoscience or chemical and process engineering, then you must do 3 subjects, chemistry, math, and physics. So these are the things that you must be aware of. You must do your research on what is required for entry into your degree programs so that we can guide you on your course selection. Because it does not make sense you're going through an entire year and then at the end of it, you cannot get into the degree you want to get into. All right. So we are going to first touch on the timetable and then we are going to go into the question and answer segment.
Yeah, just before, this is not only for medical sciences, huh? You need to check, you all have a wide variety of programs that you want to get into. Ensure that you're doing the right courses from now because you cannot add a course in the middle of semester one. So please, 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 please check. It's not going to hurt you to just Google it and check it. So let me share and go to the timetable, especially for the new ones. If we could just draw your attention to the screen. So in order to access why is this happening? In order to access the timetable, which is the university timetable, again, you could type up UE timetable. You don't necessarily have to put Finder, but if you want to put Finder, that's fine. And you will see Timetable Finder Semester 1, 2025-2026. You will click on it. This page will populate. For the courses, Semester 1, this is. It's the first four digits. If it's biology, it will be biol. If it's chem, it will be chem, CHEM for chemistry, COMP for computer science, MATH for maths, and PHYS for physics. All of them would reflect a 0100 course number. So as you could see on the screen, Biol 0100 is one of the N1 courses. You would click on it. This document here shows the general timetable for biology. So I want you to write this down, the new ones especially. For biology, chemistry, mathematics, you would see groupings. You would see G1, you would see G2. We took the liberty to put you all, we assigned groups to you all based on your combination of courses. The groupings, the document that will identify the groupings, I'm going to show you it. I'm going to send you it via email after we have concluded this meeting. This is what it looks like. So if I got accepted to N1 and I am doing biology, chemistry, and mathematics, you would see that on your acceptance letter. This is the top combination where you see biology, chemistry, mathematics. So you're going to the you're going to the middle column where you see course combination. You are looking for your combination here. If you don't see it, it probably means that you don't have groups or you are not assigned to any group, and you can then proceed to pull out the necessary lectures and tutorials and labs if applicable to create your timetable. So you are responsible for creating your timetable. The first step, you're identifying your groups. So for the first combination, biochem and maths, I will be in biology group 1, chemistry group 2, and mathematics group 1. You're taking that information and you're coming over to the timetable. So I know I'm in biology group 1. I'm going to the timetable and pulling out all the group 1 sessions. You're going to highlight the group 1 sessions. The first thing you are putting down on your timetable would be your lectures, because these are fixed, right? It is not optional. You cannot move this or go to another one. You have to attend all G1 lectures for that course. So for me, I would take this one out and put it on a Excel sheet. You could do it as a table on a Word document. You could write it on a page in your notebook. However you want to store it or create a timetable, you have the option to do that. This file here, this slot here, it shows Monday 1 to 2. I'm in G1. I know that I will be in this class. The reason you are seeing 2 blocks is because the top block reflects remote teaching, right? And it also reflects weeks 1 to 2. So you have 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks, remote teaching, and your lecturer would be Miss Rosemont Jolly. You understand how to read that there? The new ones. Your lecturer, Rosemont Jolly. You have online teaching. You will see remote teaching. And you will see weeks 1 to week 2. If you look at the bottom block, you would see week 3 to week 12, which means from the 3rd week, you will be here physically on campus. And this session, the same session that you have for the first 2 weeks, Monday at 1 to 3, would now be located at TLC, Lecture Theatre D. You may see TLC LTA, TLC LTE. They are the same building, different lecture theaters. And this is the same building I was referring to that you need your ID card to get access to. So if some of you who may have already created the timetable would realize that there are a lot of lectures at TLC. So you know that you will be spending a great amount of time at that building. So you know you have to organize your ID card before you get into that building. If not, walk with a copy of your acceptance letter. Now, when we reach to week 3, all the sessions that you're seeing as remote teaching would be removed from the timetable. You won't see it. You will only see this section here, this little block here, stating TLC Ltd G1, Miss Rosemont Jolly, course Bio 0100, and it will be from week 3 to week 12. You take that information down and you put it on your personal timetable. Your next thing you're going to do is focus on your labs. So if I'm making my timetable, I would pull out the lectures for bio, pull out the lectures for chem, pull out the lectures for maths. What that will do is show you the spaces in the week. And then you go to your labs because you will have to select one of these lab streams. For bio and for chem, maths does not have lab. So then when you see the free spaces on your timetable, you would go back to this general timetable and pick one of the lab streams. For example, Thursday, let me see what chemistry looks like. So you know Thursday there are 2 labs to bio, 8 to 12, 1 to 5. You come and you check chemistry on the Thursday, right? So if I am doing group 2 for chem, just looking at this here, I already see I cannot do the morning lab for bio because I have a lecture Thursday morning at 11 to 12 for chemistry. So I have to select the evening session if I want to do the lab on a Thursday for bio. But if I'm selecting the Thursday evening for bio, of course, I cannot do this session here for chem on a Thursday, the lab session from 1 to 5. So now I have to select another lab. So you're getting the gist of it? You put down all your lectures first because you can't really move those. You assign those. And then when you see the free spaces, you fit in your lab and then you fit in your tutorial. Now, with regards to the tutorial, and I'll just go back to bio, you are going 1 hour tutorial for the week. So if I am in group 1, I'm going to one of the group 1 tutorial sessions. You will see G1T1 and you will see G1T2, which is group 1 tutorial 1, group 1 tutorial 2. You will see group 1 tutorial 3. You are only selecting one, and whichever one you select would be your tutorial for the rest of the semester. You are not hopping from tutorial on a Tuesday or Monday to then go on a Thursday and no. The tutorials are usually a smaller class. It may take maximum 35 students. It's supposed to be a more one-on-one interaction with your lecturer. You are responsible to attempt the questions they provide before you reach to the tutorial. And in the session, they will go through, even if you don't get it right, if you get it right, if you get half right on your stick, attempt it. When you go into the class, they would go through and explain the questions on the sheet. The tutorial sessions are not for you to now go through the material with the lecture. We want to see where you're sticking. We want to see if you're understanding. We want to see if the lecturers have to go back over a topic, whatever the case may be. So attempt it before you go to the class. And as a tip, your questions on your coursework and your final exam usually resembles your tutorial. So please do not miss your tutorials. As a matter of fact, don't miss any of your classes. Unforeseen things happen, try not to miss. Now we pull out your course combination from this document. As your first step, you identify your groupings. As your second step, you go over to the timetable finder online, you open up the general timetable for the courses, pull out your lectures, fit in your labs, and then fit in your tutorials. If you're doing maths and comsci, same thing applies. You pull out your combination here, it will only give you groupings for maths because computer science does not have groups. So the second to last combination, this line down here, you will be in group 2 for maths if you are doing computer science and mathematics only. If you are doing biochem and phys, this will be your combination. Physics has no groups. Comsci have no groups. You will have to attend all of the sessions that you see lecture for on the timetable for 2 of those, 1 tutorial, and in the case of ComSci, the labs will be online. You are selecting 1 lab for ComSci. Same as physics, 1 lab for physics. There's an option to take computer science lab on a Saturday for those of you who it may fit into your schedule better. That is fine. You are not coming on campus to attend the computer science lab. You are taking that lab at home. That's the only thing that would be remotely delivered within semester 1, apart from the first 2 weeks. So, Ms. Jules, we could do the questions.
Let me just jump in because some persons are still confused.
Yeah, I know they
So for biology, you
hmm?
have 3 hours of lecture,
And you
four
should write
hours
this
of
down.
lab, 1 hour tutorial session. So when you're doing your timetable, you are supposed to have 3 hours of lecture for each group. 3 hours of lecture, 1 hour tutorial, and 4 hours of lab. That is the same for chemistry. 3 hours of lecture, 1 hour tutorial, 4 hours of lab. For physics, you are attending 3 hours of lectures. They don't have groups of physics, so it's all the lectures on the timetable you're attending. 4 hours of lab and 1 tutorial session. Mathematics, you have 5 hours of lecture. So those of you who are saying that you only got 3, for each group, you have 5 hours of lecture for mathematics and 1 hour tutorial. For computer science, you have 4 hours of lecture, 2 hours of lab, and 1 tutorial session. All right, so you have to ensure that when you're reading the timetable, you are reading it correctly.
Correct. Ms. Jules, let me just cut you. Look at this, guys. On Friday, from 10 to 12, right? You realize this block is highlighted in yellow. This is a relocation. So if it is something happens on campus, let's just say um, we have some diplomatic coming and they want to use a room that we have a lecture in. Timetabling, which is the campus timetabling team, would place an edit like this on your timetable. Now, we know that you are pulling out information from this, so you are not going to be checking this every week. But we as administrators would receive this before it change or before it is available for you on this timetable here. You will be notified during the semester that, hey, class next week, Wednesday, is not at Daga Auditorium, it will be at LRC. So just be aware, you may see things like this happening. So your original class would have been in TLC LT42. They moved it to Daga Auditorium, right? So your emails would be the main, the first, the ideal source of communication from us to you. That's the first source of communication. We will not be calling all of you to say there's a classroom timetable change. We would send a mass email. Normally the word gets around because some would see, some would not see, but then when you all meet up on campus, you might say, hey, class change from here today. You could come and confirm it in the office. That is not a problem. But your main source of email communication will be via email. For now, it would stay as your personal email. eventually we would switch over to your UE student email. Go ahead.
Um, Karen, just pull up
Mm-hmm,
the gate information for me, please,
mm-hmm.
so that they will know when they are applying for gate what information they have to enter. And while you're doing that, let me just touch on what I discussed before for MBBS. So for persons who are applying who are doing N1 to get into the Faculty of Medical Sciences, whether it be MBBS, dentistry, DVM, or so forth, you must do biology, chemistry, and a third subject. Now, if you did keep, and in any particular course you achieved ones in both units, you can use that CAPE subject and pair it with your N1 courses. All right, so let us say you at CAPE you would have done biochem, environmental science, and you achieved ones in environmental science, but you didn't do too well in bio and chem, but you're coming to do it at N1, then you can do bio and chem only at N1 and use it with your environmental science to get in. But you cannot do half of N1 and pair it with half of CAPE. It doesn't work like that. If you're enrolling in N1, you must complete both semesters. If you did CAPE, you must have completed both units. All right, that is how that works. And of course, because engineering, medical sciences, social sciences, they go on a point system. The higher your grades, the greater your points. Medical sciences is a sought after faculty. It is heavily subscribed. They cannot take everyone, which means you have to do your very best. They only look for persons with A's and or A pluses. If you have a A minus in between, it will bring down your points, but still you might have a fair chance. However, your aim should be an A. All right? And even after you have completed N1 and you reach to the point where acceptance to medical sciences, you get a deferral. I always advise persons a deferral is still an acceptance. It is not an unsuccessful letter. It means that they cannot accept everyone this year and you'll have to start the other year. I am a member of staff at UE for the past 20 years and my daughter got a deferral. I didn't go and make a hullabaloo about it. I accepted that decision because that is exactly what happens. Not everyone can get in on the same year. So bear that in mind. Use the opportunity to work for the year to get some work experience. All right? It means that you still have an offer to get in. I'm not hearing you, Karen.
Yeah,
You're
you don't hear
sounding
me?
like a robot.
I don't know, probably the
Okay, I'm now
connection.
hearing
Oh,
you properly.
for medical sciences, you have a component regarding volunteer work. You could also use the year to boost up that aspect. So they look at all of that when they are accepting. It's not just grades. Yes, grades are heavily relied upon, but your volunteer work is also looked at.
No, well, they would need to do the volunteer work now because this
Well,
is
that's what I'm saying. But if they
acceptance.
have the year, they could also do it in that year. And you could refer to the scheme they're seeing here now. This is how the Faculty of Science and Technology would be grading you. For the ones going into medical sciences, you must stay at the top two here, which is A and A plus. You must stay in this range. Must, must, must. Yes, you can chance the A minus, but it will give you a lower point. So you must try to stay in all your three courses if you are doing N1. Three courses that if you have keep two ones in unit two, I mean two ones in unit one and two, that's fine. The other two courses you still need to stay between 80 to 100 in each course.
And just to clarify, the quality point here is not the same point system that the faculties use. As a matter of
Correct.
fact, pre-science do not carry a GPA or a quality point system. They use grade and grades only. So when it is you look at your record, you would see a grade next to each course that you would have done. All right. Did you pull up
Right.
the gate
Yeah.
information? You went to the button, what they are putting on the gate application form. Right. So for persons who are asking about gate, this information on the screen here is what you are going to enter when applying to gate, which means you would have already passed the TT Connect stage and would have received your eGate service ID. This is the information that you're putting. Your program level is certificate. The program is certificate pre-science program N1. The enrollment type is full-time. Enrollment year is year 1. Your period is September 2025 to August 2026. The academic year is 2025 to 2026. Semester is 1 and level is 1. So this information has to be accurate, otherwise you're going to have delays in the processing of your GATE application.
And please be reminded that you have to apply for GATE for semester 2.
Right. I was now going to say that GATE
Yeah, go
must be
ahead.
applied for each semester. Just as with registration, you have to register for your courses again in semester 2. You have to apply for GATE in semester 2 as well. So same procedure. The only thing different is that you do not pay compulsory fees in semester 2. The process is the same. All right. And of course, we would be providing you all with information again to remind you, but just bear that in mind.